Ninjas, good morning on this beautiful Pump Monday. Are you pumped?
No, not yet. I gotta get there though.
What are you waiting for?
I gotta get started first.
So how's your weekend, Busy Bee?
It was pretty good.
Yeah, what'd you do?
Nothing much. Just laid around.
I guess that is a pretty good weekend when you just don't do anything. Did you sleep in at least?
Yeah, I slept till about 10:30, 11 Saturday.
Oh, wow. Wow.
Feeling good though.
I bet it did. Good morning, ninjas. Hope all you ninjas are doing good on this beautiful Pump Monday. We just pulled up at our first yard. This is the yard that some of you might remember that when we first picked up again for the second time a few weeks ago. This was the one where the backyard was really overgrown. We got here about 7:48, 7:50. As you can see right now it's 8 o'clock, so we're just getting ready to jump out of the truck. I told Busy Bee, you know, let's just wait a few more minutes. A lot of you who've watched my channel for a while, you already know I've shared this story, so I'm not gonna go over the story again, but I have had the cops called on me for mowing too early. So you really got to know your neighborhoods. You really got to know, kind of, you know, figure it out. I mean, look around. If you see a good little neighborhood like this, you know, just I wouldn't start here before 8 a.m. You know, you don't know who might get offended, who might get pissed off. So, and they may call the police on you. But sometimes, you know, of course, commercials, you can start a lot earlier, no doubt about that. I know a lot of us start super early to try to beat the heat, and that's totally understandable. But when it comes to certain neighborhoods, really be careful. I wouldn't recommend starting before 8 o'clock, and that's just because I had the police called on me once, and ever since then, I've always just been a little hesitant as far as when to start. Busy Bee, he is dragging. Not really. No, you're all right. Come on now, snap out of it.
I'll snap out of it once I get started.
Yeah, we're getting ready to jump out of the truck. But stay tuned. Show you what we get into today. We got a good full list, and it's supposed to, I think it's supposed to get hot today. It's supposed to be 90 degrees with a chance of some showers, scattery. So I don't know if it's like 50, 40, 50, 60%, something like that. But usually when it's around 50%, it's just kind of a little scattery here and there. But
yep.
You never know, we might get a little wet.
Yeah, we'll find out.
Wet doggy. What are you eating now?
A little piece of
Always
pizza.
eating something, a little piece. How many pieces have you had since we started?
2 or 3 probably.
2 or 3. Ninjas, this ninja is eating all day long. Ever since we started this morning. You must have not had dinner or something, or breakfast.
I didn't have breakfast this
No
morning.
breakfast, okay. You got puddles of water everywhere. It's soaked. And the mower, of course, is gonna get really nasty. Moist. Definitely moist. Look at that puddle over there. But this is why I like not calling it quits early, because you just never know when this will happen, or when the rain will move, or it might be just something for 30 minutes or an hour, and you don't want to call it quits on your whole day and then no more rain the rest of the day. Just speaking from experience, I've done it before and I've kicked myself. So anyway, as I mentioned in the last video, I'm not going to do it this second. First of all, this is not my yard. This is a customer's yard, but I can pinpoint some of this stuff here. Every yard will have, of course, weeds. Every yard will have some kind of a fungus, just about, unless you get it treated. If you call any kind of spraying companies, I'm not really sure what their prices are, but we can all assume that it's probably on up there in price. Busy Bee is an expert, so he's going to go ahead and point to you where you can see some fungus in this yard. He looks like a deer in the headlights. So if you have some dead spots, if you have some, and I don't, like right here, here's a good example. If you have some dead spots, if you have, which we'll go more into this in my own yard, because I definitely have some. I don't have as much as some of these other yards that I maintain, but if you have dead yellow spots, stuff like this. If you see a piece of grass where it's green towards the bottom and then it's got some yellow at the top, you've definitely got some kind of fungus. And then of course, not to mention if you've got some weeds in here and whatnot. And you can get a spraying company to spray for weeds, but they will not, those chemicals that they put down will not actually treat the fungus in your yard. It'll just kill, you know, clover and whatnot, but it will not treat the fungus. So also, one other thing I learned, I did not know this, Dallas grass is really annoying, and a lot of customers, a lot of people actually confuse it, Dallas grass, for crabgrass, because it looks so alike. For example, right there. And the chemicals that the spraying companies put down will not kill Dallas grass, because their chemicals only kill weeds and it does not kill the grass. So a lot of times you're going to confuse it and think that that is crabgrass when it's not. The only way you can actually kill Dallas grass is in the fall when you aerate. That'll help. So when you're aerating and seeding, because you're putting more seed in for that fescue or whatever type of grass that you might be seeding, or physically cut it out, dig it out, that spot where it is, pull it out, and then of course topsoil it and seed it with some fescue if that's the seed that you're throwing down. Let's get started on this yard. What's wrong, Busy Bee?
I don't know.
So it worked just fine at the last yard.
Yeah.
Did you choke it?
Yeah, we tried that.
Okay. You think it's the rain?
If I had to guess, I'd say so.
Try it a couple more times just to see. Do you think you need to choke it again?
Try to.
How many times are you choking it? It's a legitimate question.
Once or twice, I guess.
Okay. If you choke it more than 3 times, you're playing with it. Uh-huh. So I think it is the rain. It didn't want to start on me neither. And in this situation, what we're going to do is just let it sit, see what it does. Give it a few minutes. Go ahead and use mine. Well, ninjas, look where we are. Busy Bee, does it look familiar?
Yeah, I'd say this one looks pretty familiar.
How about that front door? How about that rear window and the driver's side and the blue car?
Looks pretty good too.
Okay, so everything's fixed. So ninjas, this is what we're gonna do. I definitely don't want Busy Bee up here in the front yard, period. Also, I just don't want him to be responsible if anything else happens. So I told him I'm gonna mow and weed eat the front, and he's gonna mow and weed eat the back. It'll go a lot quicker as well. And then I'll just do the final blow off because the front is smaller than the back, and he's I'll be done a lot quicker. But you know, I just, if anything ever happens, I'd rather it be me than you.
Yeah.
So, but this is the yard for any of you new ninjas who might be watching this video but haven't seen the last couple. We had, yeah, right, we had back-to-back breaking glass here, all within 2 weeks of apart. The next one is all weed eating. It's the yard that we weed eat the front and the back. The back is like a big drop downhill. It's the one that some of you loyal ninjas will remember. I used the SW, I think, 15, the self-propelled push mower, but it's really like a miniature walk behind Snapper Pro. So I want to say SW or SP. Do you remember? No, but you know what I'm talking about, the red one I got. I haven't used that in a while actually, but I might be using it here soon again. When I was going there solo for a little while, it made sense for me to bring it, and that's really, I mean, I use it in a couple other yards, but that was the main one I was thinking of at the time when I was introduced to it. But you know, now that you have two people, it goes so much quicker when it's two people, when you're just weed eating, knocking it all out. It's not that big of a yard, especially in the front. But anyway, finished everything. I wanted to conclude the video and show you, I'm not gonna put this stuff down today. I'll probably do it in the morning. Of course, I will update you what the results are of this and if it works. So this is kind of an experiment of my own. So this is what would consider as a fungus. This is something I am willing to try on my own, because I've researched it and looked into it and read a little bit about it and what creates fungus, which we'll get to that here in a second, and how you can do it yourself. And then I started looking around and seeing what you could buy that would actually work and not really waste your money. So what creates fungus? Well, there's many things that can create some kind of a fungus or a disease. And number one is underwatering, of course. Number two is overwatering. So if you have water that sits too long, so if you're overwatering and to the point where your grass just stays moist and damp, then that will create a disease as well. Tell me if I'm correct on this, if this is actually true or not, but I have heard a lot of people say that lawn care companies create fungus as well with their mowers and the decks and the blades. If you are cutting a yard that's full of fungus and disease, and then you go to a nice healthy fescue yard, for example, that yard could get some fungus and some disease from just your deck and your blades. Let me know what you think on that. I'm not saying that it may not be able to happen. It just seems like whoever I've talked to, that seems to be the first thing they would want to point to and say and blame the lawn care guys. But you know, it very well may be true. This is actually what I ended up going with. Like I said, there was many options in different stores, but this is from Amazon. So you can pick this up at Amazon. It is called Heritage G, and it is a 30-pound bag, and it basically costs about 25-30 bucks. But the good thing is, I mean, this bag, of course, it depends how heavy you put it and if you have a severe issue or not. I don't have a huge issue in the front yard. Now, the backyard is nothing but weeds and disease, and it's just because I cut it real short for a little ninja to play with, and, you know, just we don't keep the grass super tall in the backyard. But at the front yard, I do keep it pretty tall, and so I do have a few spots, and I wanted to give this a shot. So anyway, like I said, 25-30 bucks. Heritage G broad spectrum fungicide for control of turf diseases in lawns and around residential, institutional, public, commercial, and industrial buildings, turf areas of parks, recreational areas, and athletic fields and golf course turf. So don't hold me to this, but I think from what I read online, I try to see if it showed it anywhere on here, but from what I read online, this will actually cover about 7,000 to 15,000 square feet, which is perfect if I'm just doing it for the front yard anyway. And you just put this whole thing down and see what it does. Now, I don't know if I'm gonna have to do this multiple times. I haven't gotten that far, so keep in mind this is still an experiment for me. If I have to do this maybe every like 2 months, 3 months, something like that, I will continue to look into it a little more. Or if some of you ninjas already know about this, let me know if this is all I would need for this season, or if I need to go ahead and get another bag or two. Also, let me know if you have heard of this brand Heritage G yourself before, and if you've used it, what do you think? Does it actually work? My biggest fear on this is hurting the yard. So that's the biggest fear I have. I'm hoping that by putting it down, I don't end up like killing everything. Anytime you're trying something new, definitely go ahead and experience it on your own yard first before you commit to trying to upsell it to some of your customers. And first of all, definitely make sure you have any kind of licensing before you offer any kind of chemical spraying or spreading of this sort. Stay tuned on this stuff. I just wanted to introduce it to you a little bit, but I will keep you, like I said, posted. Dust. And, you know, if it works or not. And of course, if you know about this stuff, or if you recommend something else that's probably better than this stuff, or if you have any information about any kind of fungus or disease in your yard, please let me know. Always willing to learn for sure. So this is an experiment for me, and I've never done this before in my front yard, so I want to see if it works. All right, take care. We'll see you in the next one. Peace.